Hey guys, what do you do when you're in between PoE or PoE 2 leagues, which will be coming up next year? Well, you should pick up Last Epoch. That's what I do. And that's what I've been doing a little bit lately. Of course, I've been doing the PoE tournament, but never was a big fan of minions on PoE. Decided to try out minions on Last Epoch. I'm having a lot of fun with them. I think they have a lot of potential. What I've done here, you'll see me summon these wraiths occasionally. And generally with these wraiths, they do necrotic melee damage, but then I have this giant ice golem. I've converted it to ice. It does melee cold and spell cold. And then I have 3 skelly mages, which do spell cold. And then I've converted a lot of my skeletons into mostly archers with only 1 warrior. And they do ice arrow. So it's going on mostly cold, a little bit of necrotic with the wraiths, which is my left click. And then my right click is Hungering Souls, which is actually, they're not minions. I thought they were for a long time. They're actually just a spell you're doing, which applies necrotic DOT. So I was trying to focus in on necrotic and cold. I was trying to go 100% cold, and I think it's doable with the right gear. Of course, one downside to Last Epoch is that it does not have trade yet. It has multiplayer. You can trade within a party if you're in that party when something falls. But if you're creating a custom build, it's generally solo self-found still. This will change in the future. There's going to be the Merchants Guild. The main problem with the setup, again, I have a spell that does necrotic DOT. I have a melee minion that does necrotic attacks, and then I have lots of like spell cold. It doesn't synergize well. I don't have any uniques, none. I haven't run a lot of dungeons. I've only run 1 dungeon. The loot dungeon, whatever it's called, Endless Arbor or something, Lightless Arbor, I believe it's called. I did run that one. I have not run the one to create legendaries. You can take uniques and add exalted affixes and improve the quality of your uniques, which is very unique to this game. No pun intended. This game is also unique in its crafting. It's one of the best crafting ARPGs. The crafting system's great. Here's a very rudimentary example. I have this ring with pretty good implicits, and then I had minion damage, which is a pretty decent explicit, and it was tier 4 already. So what I did was I added a rune of discovery, which just goes ahead and fills up open affixes for free. It doesn't waste any forging potential. Once forging potential is exhausted, the item is dead. It's locked in. And then, of course, next was time to get rid of the rune, use a glyph of chaos to re-roll this prefix, and I got necrotic damage. I could have stopped, I probably should have stopped, but I went ahead and rolled again, and I upgraded and re-rolled. With glyphs of chaos, you just go ahead and waste forging potential until you get what you want, but each time it does go up by 1 tier. I got minion health, which was nice. At this point, we switched over to glyphs of hope, and tried to upgrade this. Unfortunately, it did not work. Glyph of hope has a 1 in 4 chance of saving forging potential. Mine got eaten up, and so I was not able to upgrade the suffixes like I wanted. I like PoE's crafting system too. It's very expensive though. It's complex, which is nice, but it's expensive. I kind of was feeling D4s, but they went with this hyper-realism where you had to just run around town all the time and find different places to go, and playing D4 feels like a chore, it feels like a job. It's just like work to level your character. Running through these long dungeons, and the skill system's mediocre. This one has a great skill system. So, going forward, unless they change something dramatically in D4, I'm probably going to mostly be doing Last Epoch, PoE 1, and PoE 2. That'll be most of the content on the channel. Unless D4 comes out with something interesting. And I'm sure I'll go back to D2 Resurrected sometime. Once in a blue moon, fun to pick up. If you're paying attention, you'll see this is footage from the next day. I had a much cleaner run with a little bit of gear upgrade, but mostly was tired of the wraiths. The wraiths were not doing all that great, so I got rid of them. I decided to synergize with my Hungering Souls as Spirit Plague, so my left click is now Spirit Plague, which does necrotic DOT, much like the Hungering Souls. But this whole thing is just me messing around with an arena. I've been doing a lot of arenas. There's an endless arena, and then there's this one, which goes up to 40, and then you fight the boss. Alternatively, the monolith system with echoes, that's essentially the mapping system of endgame. And then you have 3 different dungeons.